After-hours subway control room, service ticket, promise on the rail. The control room over the eastbound tracks keeps its breath the way a tired city does, measured, humming, unwilling to be the first to apologize. At 1:09 a.m., the glass door wheezed and clicked behind me, and the whole room made its low electrical confession. I signed the log with a pen that made me briefly honest and slid my phone into my left pocket, the pocket I use for things that are supposed to make it home. The wall of monitors threw blue light over the map. Trains blinked as dots that believed in themselves. Back home, Caleb had said, "Can we talk tomorrow?" in the voice that means, "Please stay now." Our couch does that trick where it turns conversation into a courtroom. I left before either of us had to perform a testimony we'd regret by breakfast. On the stairwell, my screen lit with a message from M. Miles in my contacts, M in the way I label hazards to make them smaller. Control room staircase. Just talk. Roofs forgive nobody in daylight. Rails pretend they will. By day, I fix other people's paragraphs. By night, I try not to turn my own into weapons. Caleb and I have a code that works when we remember it. T means come here, you awake. Means I'm scared. Tomorrow means not yet, but don't go far. Miles re-entered orbit 2 months ago wearing a maintenance vest like a dare and a laugh that sounded like a glass agreeing to be set down gently. He didn't ask for anything. That was how I started bringing him everything. He was at the far console, sleeves rolled past radio burns, collar open, the kind of tired that makes restraint a sport. He didn't look up right away. A train icon winked from green to yellow and back as if flirting with its own delay. He touched a button without drama and finally turned toward me with the mouth that has never learned to behave. "You came," he said, as if the room hadn't already noticed. "I came to return something," I said. "My keycard, your good sense." "Your name," I said. "It's been on my mouth too long for its own health." He smiled without showing teeth, the variety of restraint I hate him most for. He pulled a service ticket from the printer, blank on the back, still warm, and set it on the desk between us with a grease pencil. "3 words," he said. "Why are you here?" 3 words is cruel. That's why they work. He lifted his chin at the monitors. The map hates speeches, it jams. I wrote proud at breakfast. Beneath it, smaller like a fuse I wasn't sure I could trust. Touch before arguing. He read, nodded once, careful, exact, and let the quiet settle as if precision were its own mercy. He didn't touch me. His hand hovered a breath from my lapel, as if adjusting it would be permission, then fell to the console like a man choosing to pass an inspection. "Does he know?" he asked, not weaponizing the pronoun because he's good at discipline until he is. "He knows the apartment is quiet," I said. A maintenance radio barked, and a voice asked the night for patience. Miles answered in his calm that is unforgivable at this distance and clipped the handset back into place. He stepped into my weather, heat arriving before hands do when men are trying to be better than the reasons they keep. "Tell me no," he said softly. I didn't. I met him in the Fool's Inch where heat and language exchange keys. His mouth tasted like mint, and a plan he hadn't declared. When his hand found the back of my neck, his grip remembered humane limits. My body answered like a courtroom that wants the witness anyway. He made the sound men make when a small country surrenders and calls it diplomacy. I made the one I've judged in myself and trusted in him anyway. We didn't rush. The rails prefer accurate schedules. His mouth found the hinge of my jaw. Mine found the line beneath his ear where regret loses vocabulary. His palm slid under my shirt and paused flat on my chest. An oath, "Do you swear?" and then moved with attention rather than appetite. He guided my hand down with the steadiness of a man who respects tools. I closed my fingers and he exhaled into my mouth a truth nobody paid to hear. He reached for me and I let him. We stayed quiet because walls prefer prose. The city crossed itself above us and pretended not to know why. "We already cheated," he said after, breath cooperating again. "We cheated when we started telling each other the truth before we told it at home." "I know," I said. A dot on the map turned red and thought better of it. He set the service ticket on my palm and pressed my fingers closed, ceremonial, ridiculous. "I booked a room," he said, not triumphant. "Weather report, not prophecy. Refundable. We could stand at a window and not touch for 60 seconds just to prove we remember ceremony. We could keep the do not disturb honest." "I'm tired of being clever," I said. "Clever's a night shift," he said. "Accurate is a morning one." He slipped the ticket into my left pocket with a care that made my throat argumentative. His thumb brushed my wrist once and chose not to stay. He stepped back the moral inch men use when they agree to be inspected. "Text me a weather report in the morning," he said. "Tell me if the kettle beat the reasons." "It usually does," I said, "when we let it." A chime sounded like a soft verdict and the map declared the line healthy. The knight agreed. We walked to the stairwell separately because we aren't cowards, we're tired. He didn't touch my shoulder as I passed. I didn't ask him to. The glass door sighed and returned me to the part of the city that believes in shoes. The crosswalk gave me time, I took it. The kitchen light made its square on the tile. The fridge hummed the way machines hum when they've decided to believe you. Caleb sat on the floor with his back against the door, sleeves pushed to his elbows, one ankle crossed over the other, the posture manuals use when they draw people who are about to fix things. He didn't ask where I'd been. He turned his head slightly toward the space beside him. I sat. "Do you want to be asked?" he said, voice steady, not performing mercy, offering it. "Please," I said, "because prompts are scaffolding when you've been building without permits." "Are you lonely?" he asked. "Some nights," I said. "Not here. Not when you ask first. Not when the kettle outruns the reasons." I took his wrist and placed his hand on my forearm the way he does when he needs to make sure I'm not inventing weather. His thumb traced once and believed me. "I feel useful," he said. "I want to be wanted before I'm useful." "Tonight's procedure," I said. "Touch first, argue second, report later." The kettle clicked like a stamp in a country that still believes in mail. He stood and poured water over mint. We named it dinner because names are cheaper than regret. I pinned the service ticket under the lemon-shaped magnet so Proud at Breakfast faced the room. Caleb read it and his mouth did the smaller, braver thing. He picked up the dry erase marker and wrote beneath the lemon, "Tomorrow, keep the torque." He didn't grin. He assembled himself and the sentence into a morning. We made a rule that isn't noble. When prosecution tries to wear a bathrobe, one of us says control room and the other puts the kettle on while the first puts his hands where history can find them. We agree to 5 words when 5 are enough. We stop at the shoulder, not the ditch. We try to want what we promised, and when we don't, we write 3 words on small paper and tell the room we'll fail differently tomorrow. Days do what days do when you're trying to be an amateur human with professional consistency. The ticket in my pocket learns the shape of my left hand. Paper learns its carriers. On the late bus, I draft messages to no one that begin "I didn't ask" because I thought that counted as kindness and "and may your breakfast go right." I don't send them. The not sending feels like a skill borrowed from rails that arrive within 2 minutes of their own courage. A week later, afternoon tries to be a test. I walk past the station and buy nothing. I leave a bottle of water on the bench by the north entrance with a note, "For whoever is waiting for a sister." The guard nods like a bridge that has held and will hold again. On my way home, I slip a blank service chit into my pocket and write "turn toward your name" across the clean side. I don't light anything. That night we eat toast like it has been newly invented. We fail and fail differently and fail in ways that don't require anyone to stand under a map pretending to know which line will save them. The room does not demand a verdict. The morning remembers its job. And when we say tomorrow out loud, it means only what we let it mean.